Mindell. Marla
Hello.
Mindell. Hello. Well,
Hello.
first of all, hold on. What is this fancy apartment you have
Oh
going
my God, it's
on?
not fancy. It's a fifth floor walk up in Harlem, and that is from Etsy, that light. And we have a plan that makes it look chic.
All I'm
That's from Facebook
saying,
Marketplace.
no.
Yeah.
Yes, you're
Thank you.
giving me very chic
Chic.
apartment. Hey,
Thank
lady,
you.
I lived in Harlem. We were on 119th and Frederick Douglass Boulevard. I
Isn't
loved
that
it.
crazy?
I really loved it there.
Yeah. Where are you now?
Northern California between Sacramento and Lake Tahoe.
Oh my gosh, even
It's
better.
so nice to
Hello.
meet you, first of all. Hi,
Nice
hi,
to meet
hi.
you too.
Congratulations on everything. You're just like
Oh, thank
shooting the
you.
Well,
moon.
yeah.
Today's guest is hilarious. When I was doing my research, my first stop was her website, where I saw her totally stupid in the best way, real. And I thought, okay, I'm going to enjoy this interview. She came to New York and she landed work on Broadway right away, debuting in South Pacific. Then she went on to originate the role of Sister Mary Robert in Sister Act and the evil stepsister in the 2013 revival of Cinderella. She decided then to move to Los Angeles and become a television writer because that's what you do. New York lost her, but she had some struggles breaking into the writing business. While working at a dinner theater in Los Angeles, she and her friend Constantine Rizzulli came up with the idea for a new musical, and they co-wrote Titanique. She played Céline Dion in this smash Broadway musical parody, and New York got her back. Titanique is now on tour in Australia, Canada, and the UK. From there, she decided that one off Broadway smash wasn't enough, so she co wrote The Big Gay Jamboree with Jonathan Parks Ramage and Philip Drennan. It is currently running at the Orpheum Theater in New York to raves. You can also catch her on the Emmy nominated Netflix series Special. She plays Olivia, a poorer, less fashionable, but equally bitchy Miranda Priestley type character. It is a great binge. Please welcome Marla Mindell.
Thank you so much. Wow, what an
Woohoo!
intro. Oh,
Okay, I
God,
have to
you
ask
sound
you.
like my mother.
Oh, I wish my mother sounded like that. That's a whole different Zoom and therapy session, though.
Yeah.
On your website, though, what made me laugh is you're a bamboozler.
Yeah, a singer, actor, bamboozler. Because
Yes.
because Stephanie, I am not a dancer, but I am a bamboozler, and
So
somehow
you are just going to fake it all the way, and you lead people to believe that you can do all the things. Have you always been that way?
a bamboozler. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I've been a professional troll all of my life. Like my family, we just grew up with such a good sense of humor. We were always kind of digging at each other. It was kind of our love language. And yeah, and I feel like that's carried with me to this day. And I feel like you see it in my writing, you see it in my shows.
Hmm.
I don't take anything too seriously, including musical theater.
Okay.
And I love kind of I kind of like making light of everything. Someone once said to me, like, there are two types of people in the world, people who see life through the lens of poetry and people who see it through the lens of comedy. And I
Uh,
certainly see it through the lens of comedy,
yeah,
everything, including
yeah,
myself.
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah. I
You
love
know,
it.
you say you're not serious, but when I think of those that have graduated from CCM, which you have, is that true?
Oh, that is
Yeah,
true. Oh, I went to
that
that
is true.
factory for
These
sure.
are serious players, and whether they're
Yeah.
serious vocalists or serious actors, like that program is no joke. It's very discerning who they welcome into your own words, the factory.
The
So
factory.
you had to, maybe you're a bamboozler, but you certainly, the proof is in the pudding, and you
Yeah.
always come to the table with the goods. So what did that look like? You're 19 years old or 17 years old, and you're auditioning for CCM. And how serious are you taking yourself at that point in your life?
Oh my God. I mean, musical theater, I was eating it, breathing it, sleeping it. I grew up in a musical theater household. My father was a composer. My mother and father met doing 110 in the Shade in
Oh,
Arizona
you're
Community Theater.
kidding. Are they
Yeah.
Wow.
Audra and Will? Are your parents Audra and
You know what? I
Will?
don't know, but I don't think so because then they did Oliver together. And I think my dad was the guy that more, you want more? And then my mom was in the ensemble.
Oh, okay.
But
All right.
they met doing community theater. And
I
then,
love that.
when my mom was pregnant with me, she was listening to Evita. So when I tell you that I popped out of the womb, like singing show tunes,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I was going to go, I followed in my father's footsteps. I was going to be a musical theater star. And I went to this college. And it's so funny that you talk about some people being really welcomed by the factory and some people kind of being like the outliers.
Yeah.
I was certainly an outlier. And the co-authors of Big Gay Jamboree, Jonathan Parks Ramage and Philip Drennan, we were called the Unholy Trinity by my college professors. And
What did he mean by that?
because we were just
can you discern what the heck he was meaning?
just because we did not subscribe to the system. It's like I got there and I kind of saw through everything. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
either you're gonna kiss butt and you're gonna be like this little musical theater robot who's gonna conform, or if you're a strong, kind of confident woman like myself that knew
You're gonna
exactly
shake it
what
up.
she wanted. And some people, they don't like that. And
Yeah.
so I don't think that I was necessarily, I think I was respected by my teachers, but I don't think that I was necessarily welcomed.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
interestingly, that kind of drive of not being accepted, of feeling like I wasn't the favorite, of not getting cast in college productions, really, really fueled my fire to say, okay, well, you guys don't think that I'm going to be anything, or I'm just going to be one of these people that graduates and goes to work in a restaurant for
I'll
20
show
years.
you.
Yeah, I'll show you. And so that
Mhm.
mentality has kept me driving 20 years later. So in a bizarre way, I kind of owe it to them for not being so coddling to me, for being the exact opposite, because it gave me that passion to
It's
make.
funny because when I was researching and looking into all the things you've done, that's what occurred to me. I said, this woman does not look for approval. And you have great, what I call like life's shock absorbers. You just hit the bumps and you just keep going. It doesn't stop you and you don't take no for an answer. And I think that kind of resiliency in life is key to everything. It's key to all success, that kind of resiliency.
I think certainly in this business, I mean, I've been pounding the pavement for 20 years, and I'm still here. I'm still like probably one of the last people in my college class that is still doing, musical theater. And everyone has said no to me. Like nothing has ever come easy to me. Like, yes, yes, yes. I worked consistently in my 20s, and I'm very, very grateful for that. But like I was never handed anything like so many people can be in this industry, or a rare few get handed a lot. It was never like that for me. And certainly with writing, when I moved to LA, I was like, well, I'll just be a writer if I can't, do all the things that I want to do on Broadway. And it wasn't handed to me then either. Like the,
Yeah.
the last chapter of my life has been like this bizarre fluke that has really, really led me to the most authentic version of myself.
It's no fluke, though. It's no
No,
fluke.
for
You
sure.
had to go through that stuff, go through those challenges in order to pop out the other side and be authentically you. And
And
nothing can sort of stop you now because you're on your own 2 feet.
And now I'm here, and I am a musical theater terrorist.
blowing it up. But
Yeah, I'm blowing it up.
listeners, while Marla was saying her whole sort of journey, she used the word, I'm still doing it. You're creating it. And
Mm,
that is a
That's
whole
the
other
difference.
level of artistry, of guts, of risk that I so appreciate.
thank you.
I raised my hand too when you're like, it didn't come easy for me. I wasn't the one that was necessarily chosen right off the bat, right?
Yep.
And so it was COVID when I realized, oh my God, I'm not making these things. I always thought I was like creating opportunities for myself and this artistry and this sort of rehearsal. And no, I was lucky enough that it was being offered to me. Now,
Yeah.
I had laid the groundwork and the foundation to arrive at that point.
Hmm.
And so when everything stopped, I went, oh crap, no, I haven't been making this happen for me. I had created something and planted seeds that were popping up for me. But now
Mhm.
that it's all stopped, it really is up to me. And that was I found myself being kind of an empty vessel going, Stephanie, you got to dig from the bottom up. And that is a whole different skill set, a whole different discipline, a whole different sort of self-encouragement that
Mhm.
I thought I had. And I was completely lacking in all of those things until I realized and made myself do it. So
Mhm.
was it I have to make myself do it, or was that always fuel to your fire even in the beginning?
I there's I don't know, maybe you both feel this way. There's no other option for me. I can't think of anything. Honestly, I wish I could. I wish I could think of something else to do. It was always like I have to make it. But let me tell you something. When I was in Los Angeles after a decade on Broadway, I lost everything. I'm very open about this. I lost all of the money that I saved. I lost like my home at some point. I lost friends and family. I was working in a restaurant and I really started to think like, and then of course the pandemic happened. So then, you know, like you were saying, it throws everything into question. What am I doing with my life? There have been moments where I have been so confident in myself, but then at the same time, I have been like, well, maybe the universe is telling me something, and that is to give up. Um, but I think that I don't know, the resolve to be a creator finally worked out for me. And now I feel like I have been given this kind of second lease on life in a different capacity within musical theater,
Mhm.
because that's also something that I kind of struggled with. I don't know if you feel this way now as a creator of having authority over a podcast and getting to do something creative that is different every single week with different guests
Mhm.
and different conversations. I really found that I was struggling doing the same thing 8 times a week. And I
Mhm.
still struggle 8 times a week with just anxiety and perfection and getting everything right. So having the ability to come back in this second chapter as somebody that has creative authority, who gets to, you know, write lines and shape things and change jokes, that has been the most rewarding thing about my second, I keep calling it my second chapter, but that's really
I
what it
love
feels
it.
like.
Yeah. Can
Yeah.
I now piggyback on that? I just thought of something. If the 8 times a week and the formula of what that looks like was difficult, and I'm going to use, because I can't, I'm not a writer, the word boring, if that was starting to become stale and boring to you, is that why you love audience participation so much? Because it's always shaking things up. No, I'm serious. That
No,
is
it's a great
something that
question.
I think is very singular to you, that when you create, your audience is part of the evening, it's part of the event. And that's always a big question mark, right? Because they do have a tendency to have a sort of collective mindset. And sometimes that can throw a real loop into your evening, but you seem to thrive on that.
Well, because it's very interesting. It's not boredom when doing 8 shows a week. It's this anxiety of perfection,
Mm,
of making sure I get very scared, honestly. I suffer from terrible stage fright because I want to hit the notes the same way and have and
mm.
not crack and oh God, am I going to stumble over a line? So it becomes like this real kind of internal battle, not boredom. I just want to, I think I love the art form so much that I just want people to think that I'm good at it. And so when I left musical theater and I moved to Los Angeles and I was working in a dinner theater, I found that one of the things that helped me with my stage fright, and also not only working at dinner theater, but I worked at Ellen's Stardust Diner, I worked at a singing ice cream parlor. Everywhere I have worked that is not musical theater has been an establishment where it's some sort of serving food and audience participation. And I found that one of the things that really helped me get out of my shell and my body and feel on the same level as people is including them in the process and being
Mm.
on the same plane as them. So I know that it is probably terrifying for them, but it actually brings me a lot of relief to be able to talk to people like human beings and also have the ability to not do the same thing 8 times a week, to be able
Mhm.
to give myself some sort of variable, to be able to talk with someone like a human and be like, hey, we're in this really uncomfortable experience together. So I know it might seem daunting for other performers, but for me, it actually brings me a sense of deep comfort to be able to be with the audience and feel communal and feel like
It's a
I'm at just,
connection.
yeah, just at a stupid, silly dinner theater, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
I love
Yeah.
breaking the fourth wall, but I
me
do love
too.
having. Now, if it's my concert, that's one thing. If it's a book musical, I do like having the script. And I do have a theory. Follow me on this. If you break the fourth wall, you're getting a Tony nomination. It's just
Really?
happening. Yes. Go all the way back. Like I will watch shows and I'm just going to throw out like Sean
Hey, yeah,
Hayes.
yeah.
As soon as I saw Promises, Promises, I was like, "Oh, and there's his Tony nom." Not that he didn't deserve it, but as soon as you have that connection with the audience, there is this sparkle and a
Electricity.
sort of shakeup that happens that makes you're no longer the spectator. You're part of the show. You feel like you're being seen in a different way. And
Mm.
that's the moment that you walk out of the theater and go, oh, he was so good. That was so special because you just gained a friend. And
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
is
yeah,
going to equate a sort
Yeah.
of personal
Yeah.
relationship, which then shows itself in other ways. And I don't care. I mean, and I attribute that to Cher. I broke the fourth wall within the first, 40 seconds of the play. Hugh Jackman, guys, go all the way back. If you're breaking the fourth wall, you're getting a nom.
Well, here's my theory on this. Okay, so here's the theory from an energetic standpoint, right? I teach yoga and the chakras and energy, right? So when you're the show itself and the people on the stage are one energy unit, right? The audience is another. Now, they do feed off of each other. They totally do, right? We feed off the audience. The audience feeds off what we're giving them, but it's never acknowledged. So when the third wall is broken, when the fourth wall is broken, that energy exchange becomes acknowledged by both parties. And that's what builds it. That makes a fourth energy or a third energy, and it rises up into something different.
I personally, I love it. It was it just kind of happened. It was happenstance in Titanique. We were like, oh, what are we going to do for this part? Marla, why don't you just like improv a section as Céline? I mean, obviously, Stephanie, you'll get this as Cher. Like, you have to be the MC of the whole night. And it's great. It's almost like it's like stand up in a way. So at first they were like, well, we just don't know, Marla, you're kind of good at improving. Just like give it a shot. And it became the standout of the show because every single night you would see something different and people were coming back like 6, 12 times. And it really also kind of spun the concept of like musical theater as we know it, on its head a little bit, because you have somebody doing something that you just never know what's going to happen. And I kind of love that. I love shaking up the art form of musical theater too. It can be very standard. It can be very homogenized, and to have something like weird and bizarre and outside the box and pushing boundaries. And that's what I love about Big Gay Jamboree too. I mean, it's a very different concept than Titanique. It's about like a modern day, basic bitch wearing a Rent the Runway dress who gets trapped in a musical and she has no idea how the fuck she got there. So she has to utilize the audience to help her escape the walls of the theater. And so that's been really, really fun too, to like have the audience like sing along or like help me. And it's been great. And it provides me some relief to just be on the same level, to be like, you know what, we are in this together. But I will say this, for as being I'm such a troll. I went to go see Cabaret, and Cabaret, Eddie Redmayne is coming up on the sides and he's like, oh my God, you look so beautiful. And everyone was like trolling me and touching me. And the gorilla, and if you could see her through my eyes, was like scaring me. And I was like the audience member that they just kept coming back to. And I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. No, like this is karma. This is karma for being such a troll.
I feel that way with mariachi bands. Look, I just want to have my chips and guac. If I have not invited you into my sacred space, I think you're very talented, but I got to get you to. It's the same thing. I remember when we lived in New York, I'd be so tired. We're on the subway back and you're like, what time is it? Showtime. Yes. I would go up to them and go, I will pay you $20 to not have showtime. Please, let's break this down. You think she's going to pay you or he's going to? This is the best deal of your life. Take the 20 and stop with the showtime.
Right, right.
I want to talk about the creation of Big Gay Jamboree. Tell me if I have this story right. From what I understood, you wrote it for a film. It was supposed to be a film. And then that deal fell through. And correct. Margot Robbie happened to see you in Titanic, thought you were amazing, reached out, asked if you were doing anything. You said, yeah, I got this thing. And now she produced it with you off Broadway.
That is nearly perfect. The only detail I will add is, yes, it famously fell apart, but at the time when I sold it as a movie, the person that was intended to produce it was Margot Robbie.
Oh, and I did not understand that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So it was, so I went to LA being like, oh, I made it on Broadway. How hard can it be to make it as a writer? And let me tell you, it was pretty goddamn hard. And as I said, I famously lost everything and I was doing dinner theater, and I got two things off the ground that kind of also sort of fell apart. One was this movie, The Big Gay Jamboree. I wrote it with Jonathan Parks Ramage, who I went to college with, and Margot Robbie was set to produce it. And I was like, oh my God.
Was it a star vehicle for you, or was it just
no?
So you were going to write it and then release it?
Yes, because I could not have greenlit a $30 million movie if I cut off my own arm. It's a much different business. So we were trying for years to find an A-list actress that could greenlight, a big movie musical. And we just could not find one. And so then our option ran out at the studio that bought it, and it fell apart. And I was devastated because I had worked 4 years, and it is so hard getting any creative project off the ground. And in the meantime, I was working this rinky-dink dinner theater, and I wrote Titanique on a literal lark. I was like, nothing will happen with this. Like, this is just like something to take my mind off of how sad I am.
Wow.
And what do you know? Titanique blows up. We take it to New York. It becomes a huge hit. And who's sitting in the audience? Because they're a huge Celine Dion fan, but Margot Robbie, who then, yes,
Oh, wow.
months later after Barbie opened, emailed me out of the blue. And I said, hey, Big Gay Jamboree, I think would make a great musical, but it's not going to be a movie. And that was in August of last year. And a year later, we had revamped it, and it opened at the Orpheum in September. And it just was one of these kinds of kismet kind of experiences where she was like, all right, let's do it. Let's go for it. And it's been like the greatest dream come true because, I thought Titanique was one dream, and it is a dream, but to have two at the same time within 10
Yeah,
blocks of each
that's
other,
It's
unbelievable.
amazing.
it's
Are you
been
composing something in the now? Is there something new in the
Oh
works?
my gosh, I don't, everyone keeps asking me that, but it's
I'm
like,
sorry.
no, 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 it's
What are
fine.
you, a slacker? It's not like you've
No,
been doing anything.
I want to have another. I want to be a prolific Jonathan Larson-esque writer and write 50 billion songs for rent. I'm so exhausted. I don't,
Of
you
course.
know what it's like, doing a show 8 times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the most fulfilling thing in the world. It's so exciting, but then at the same time, it's hard for me to even take a walk every day.
Yeah.
I feel old.
Yeah. Your writing partner is still in Los Angeles. Is that right?
He's in Los Angeles, and so that one of the beauties of Big Gay Jamboree, it's one of the best things about it, in my opinion, aside from it being done and having Margot and her support, is that Jonathan and I went to college together. Philip Drennan, who was part of the Unholy Trinity, went to college together in the same class, and Conor Gallagher, our director choreographer, in the same class. So the four of us have been best friends for 20 years, and we had all
Wow.
parlayed into different elements of theater.
Hmm.
Jonathan became a novelist, Conor a director, choreographer, Philip a musician. And so it all just happened that we were able to come together and build this thing so fast and share the same brain. And it was just one of those kinds of a dream-like kind of process, where it just everything felt so wonderful and funny and amazing. And I am just relentlessly hashtag grateful, which
Mhm.
you see on Instagram and you're like, oh, come on. But honestly, that's really how I feel. To do it and to be able to do it with my best friends is the greatest
What
gift.
else could you ask for? Right.
Do
Exactly.
you write with people in mind, or do you just write and then cast later? What does that look like for you? Do you have specific personalities and people in your past that will come haunting you as you're creating? Or is it a pretty much blank slate and you go from there?
The only person, this is so funny, but the only person who has been my muse this whole time is Constantine Rassouli, who played Jack in Titanique, who co-wrote
Yeah.
Titanique with me.
Yeah.
I brought him into Big Gay Jamboree. He was the only person that I had in mind for one of the parts, and I was like, guys, we got to put Connie in this because he's my muse, he's my husband. I live with him, I work with him. But other than that, it for this particular project because it was happening so fast.
Hmm.
It happened within about a year. I mean, the movie process was probably like 5 to 8 years, but Off-Broadway took 1 year. But that had been a complete blank slate. So we got to, just work with the casting director and cast people that we thought would be appropriate. And a lot of them remained through from the very first reading because they were just so perfect. And then, you start writing jokes for them in mind
Mm.
and then you fall in love with them. And that's been really,
Hmm.
really wonderful.
Mm.
I mean, relationships are so important. I think they're one of the major keys to any success. People have great ideas all the time. So you have to have the follow through, right? And the drive to go after the great ideas and to figure out stuff you don't know how to do in order to get it on its feet. But you have to have the trusted relationships to call upon to
Oh
help
my
see you
God.
through. If you and it first of all, it says a lot about people to me when I see long-term friendships.
Hmm.
I think when I meet people who don't have a lot of long-term friendships, I'm always a little curious, like,
Totally.
like,
Hmm.
Totally.
well, I wonder why
What's
that
going
is.
on?
But
Yeah.
when I see people who have 20, 30-year friendships, I'm like, okay, well, there's something about that person. You know, they're a good friend when they have
Yeah.
long-term friendships like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if that is combined with follow through, curiosity, fearlessness, you can accomplish anything.
It's so tricky too when you bring business into it or you bring in creativity because as more and more cooks are in the kitchen, like egos can start to flare. And I was really nervous, honestly, coming into this. And I remember having a conversation with the three of them, and I said, at the end of the day, I know how important this is to all of us, but my friendship with you is the most important thing. And I would
Hmm.
hate for anything to happen because famously you hear of collaborators not speaking to each other anymore,
Right.
and things go down the drain all the time, and it's really sad, and so it was paramount for me to keep my friendships. And I'm glad to say one of the best things about this is that because we all have known each other for 20 years, and we were just so excited, there were just no egos involved. And it also goes beyond just the four of us. Our music director, Adam Laird, went to CCM. One of our wig people is from CCM. So a couple wig people are from CCM. So it's kind of like this all in the family thing where we've gone through what we call like musical theater war camp together. We've gone
Mhm.
through the trauma of theater boot camp, and we've emerged all still friends, which is amazing.
What I also think is really like super elevated is that you're not just writing, you have put a stamp on something that feels singular because
Mm.
receive this as I'm giving it to you because it's a high compliment. The camp of it, the pop culture of it, like I feel like you are the leading voice in
Oh, thank
crafting our
you.
art form in that way. Do when you collaborate, do those that are around you, your dear friends, are they of the same sort of understanding of pop culture and the same sort of comedy, or do you gather from them and then shape it in your voice?
Honestly, we all watch the same TV shows. We all have the same comedic voice, and it's kind of important for us. I don't know. Theater has changed so much, and it certainly has changed post-pandemic as well. And the audiences are changing. And I
Mm.
think the greatest thing that we learned from Titanique is that we were just doing everything to make each other laugh. And then there was like this
Mm.
whole kind of cornerstone of a very like niche, queer, campy marketplace that was just coming out of the woodwork, being like, it feels like you wrote this for us. So, I feel like what I'm trying to do now is trying to bring theater to kind of our generation, a little bit younger than the typical Broadway audience. I think that there's a real market for off-Broadway, risk-taking, bizarre, campy, queer voices, and that's really what I has become my home. But I'm happy to say that every single person that has worked on this has been completely deranged like me, and we all share the same sensibility in reality TV, the same YouTube video jokes. Like we're all crazy, and so we say to each other, if we get it and we laugh, somebody in the audience might not get it, but there's something for everyone.
I mean, look at Oh Mary, right?
Yeah,
Talk
of
about
course.
camp.
Right, exactly.
And even Death Becomes Her. It's so campy and ridiculous. It's just, and everybody's loving this. And maybe it's the political climate. Maybe we just want
Escape, escape,
ridiculous
Totally.
escape,
and
escape.
camp and
Yep,
yeah, over the top because we're
yep.
subtle isn't cutting it right now.
Yeah.
But it seems to be everywhere right now, and there's a real hunger for it. There's a need, it seems like.
When Titanic was first debuting, we had waited 2.5 years. I was like, oh, this will never happen. The pandemic, it had been a racial global reckoning. We all emerged with no money, like having social anxiety. I was like, no one is going to want to come to a basement of Christie's and spend money for a silly little Titanic parody when we've been through something that was so deeply globally traumatic.
Yeah.
And I was
Hmm.
shocked when people came up to me and said, all I want to do is laugh right now and escape
Yep.
for 90 minutes. And here I am again at the precipice of, this election and the turmoil that we're facing as a country. And, right after Trump got elected, it was a full house because again, people just
Yeah.
want to laugh.
They want
People
to check
just,
out. Yeah.
yeah, want to check
Did
out.
you produce Titanic?
No, no, I didn't. I had the opportunity to raise money, but at the time it was right after the pandemic, and so I reached out to every single person that I knew. But Ty and Connie, who are my co-collaborators in that, they did raise money,
Okay,
so they
because I
are
heard you
considered
say you didn't
co-producers.
have big producers breathing down your neck, and I wondered if you, in a different interview, I heard you say that, and so I was
Oh,
wondering
yes.
how it got produced in that way, where you had the freedom.
In the beginning, we had zero producers for about 3 to 4 years that we were doing it. We were doing concerts and just maxing out Ty, the director's credit card. I bought my Céline
God.
Dion wig on Hollywood Boulevard. I rented my dress from Rent the Runway. I mean, we had literally no money. We call him a gay wizard. Connie made all the props from Michael's. I
I
mean, it was
love gay
just,
wizards. I need more gay wizards in my life.
Who doesn't?
Connie, come a call on. I
yeah.
need gay wizards.
I'll make anything you want, any dress you want. No, so there was no money and there was just no one like breathing down our neck, being like, oh, we don't know about that joke. We don't know. Maybe you should cut
Right.
this song. We just made what we thought was funny. And we've given a lot of freedom, honestly, with Big Gay Jamboree as well. You know, that Margot is an incredible partner and also so smart and really gave us a lot of free reign while also giving us, you know, very, very good notes in terms of character arc and stuff like that.
So
But
she
leaving all
has a
like the
bizarre sense of humor as well.
I think that if she was going to produce something called the Big Gay Jamboree,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
she has to,
Mm-hmm.
but she loves musical theater. And like it's one of the things that I love about her so much. She was so integral to the process and she would come out for the workshops and she would just be, you know, sitting there with like the biggest smile on her face, wide-eyed as if she was a child seeing theater for the first time. And that's the beauty of musical theater, you know, is that it's so transcendent. So it's been wonderful to have her
God,
be a
I
part of it.
love to hear stuff like that about people that you admire from a distance, you know, because
Yeah.
she seems like a force and she seems really smart. And
Oh,
to hear
she's
that
too
she's,
pretty. I couldn't even.
I know, and
I
she's
couldn't
so
even be in a
pretty. Like,
realm. I
oh,
can't do it.
God,
She's
I
a
just want
halo
to.
around her. She's a
Yeah,
literal halo around
right,
her. And she's the
right.
nicest person. And she just was so smart with her notes and bought us cupcakes and has been just I don't know, she's been just so wonderful. And
That's so
I'm so
great.
grateful to her and our other partners, Wagner Johnson Productions. They've just been amazing.
Amazing. Now,
So
you
great.
said something that I love, which was we just tried to make each other laugh recently. And this is the problem with Instagram. You know, you watch these really insightful and poignant clips, and then they ruminate with you, and you're like, I don't remember who said it. I don't remember when
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
yeah, yeah,
saw it,
yeah.
but it made this massive impression
Yeah.
on me.
Yeah.
There was this writer that he said, look, I don't care what other people think. It is my diary entry. And no
Mm,
one is going to come in and say, oh, you did that wrong, or that doesn't read right, or I
mm,
don't believe that part, because it's my diary. So
mm.
if I allow you into this personal space and you don't like it, that doesn't affect me at all because it's my truth, my humor, and my entry. So who cares? And
I need
that,
to take a dose of his
Yeah,
medicine.
I was
I
just going to say
mean,
that's a
but
really
isn't
hard place
that
to get to, though.
I
To
think it allowed me to digest it in a way that I never have because my, as you know, my journal entries, my diary entries are just a stream of consciousness. And it's a whole bunch of stuff that if somebody were to look at it, I wouldn't give a rat's ass because it is
Mm,
completely mine. But if I'm
mm,
going to present anything, all of a sudden I have all of these worries about others' expectations and how does that read and what is the tone and blah, 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 blah. Now, why do the rules change? If this is
mm.
my whole heart, and I am exposing my whole heart, and I can read it and go, my God, that's good, or my God, that touches me, or that makes me weep. And then this other piece, I feel slightly disconnected because I'm trying to create something that will be accepted. I
yeah.
bet you I'd have a much more successful go out of it with the unedited version.
It's
Or whether they,
authenticity. It's just authenticity. And
yes,
audiences know
they do.
if you are trying to
Yeah.
manipulate them or if you're really being authentic. I mean,
Yeah.
I started doing storytelling.
Mm.
It's a really interesting craft, not one I've ever done before. And the only reason I started doing it was to get better at podcasting because I was so afraid to share myself on a
Oh,
podcast.
really?
Yeah. And in the beginning, I would
That's
edit
so
myself
interesting.
out and it was all Steph, and I
Oh
would say like three
Yeah, it
things.
was just me.
Yeah, because I was like, no, 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 that's stupid. And I would cut myself out of
no.
everything. And I was like, okay, this is not going to work. I cannot be so afraid to be me in the
And that's why
world.
people love listening to podcasts and love listening to the two of you is to balance your opinions and get to know you as people. They
Yeah,
feel like they feel like you're their friends.
it
I'm
and it
Yeah.
glad to
really
hear that.
does feel that
Don't cut
way.
yourself out of this.
Oh
I
no,
want
I
I
you to
don't
know.
anymore. Oh girl, I'm
you
over
cut
that now.
Stephanie out. Let's cut her out the whole time.
Yeah, just get rid of
Let's get rid
me.
of her.
You
Yeah.
know, you've got your queer
But so
wizard.
I
I've
I
got my
Yeah.
started
woo-woo, my
Yeah.
woo-woo yoga mama.
I started doing storytelling
Yeah.
purposefully to force myself up on stage to reveal parts of myself. And
That's
it turned out
incredible.
to be something I really love. I just filmed for PBS last week. I did stories from the stage. And it was, it's a really fascinating experience. And my mom came and she was like, I don't know, why would people get up there and like tell personal things? And I was like, so interesting because
Oh,
now
I
I
love that.
see why. I see why it's such an important craft. And I said, Mom, it's a kind of craft. Like some people love musical theater, some people like opera, and you might not like one or the other, but this is just another craft.
Hmm.
It's a style of giving, and it just
Mm.
doesn't resonate with you, and that's okay. But I really never would have uh listened to it before just jumping in to do it. And now I'm like, this is a really interesting craft, and I love
Mm-hmm.
it so much
Mm-hmm.
because it's just people totally sharing literally like from their diary, but in a
Mm-hmm.
crafted way. So it's,
Hmm.
beginning,
Oh
middle, and end.
yeah.
I just, I don't know. I found it to be such a growth experience for me. I really love it.
I love that. I like that a lot. Honestly, we're all storytellers in some
That's
way,
it.
right? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that's what I'm doing is my version of my own story. And Stephanie, I mean, your career, your illustrious career that I have been obsessed with since I was a little baby belter.
You better stop. No, your belt is
No,
unbelievable.
Stephanie, you singing
Marla?
that opening song in The Pirate Queen, I still think about that. I went there by
Mm.
myself. I have to ask you actually, Stephanie, because this is speaking about the journal entries and the thing that you were listening to on Instagram, where he's like, "They're mine, and I don't care what people think." I give off a sense of, I don't care what people think, but deep down on the inside, I want people to think that what I'm doing is good and funny, and I didn't read any reviews for Big Gay Jamboree because I was too scared that it would deeply hurt my heart. When you look back at your career, do you feel like, well, fuck what anyone thinks, fuck
No,
everyone?
no, 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 no. I am just getting to the point. Oh God, I wish I could say fuck what everyone thinks. But I am getting to the point where I understand what a healthy balance looks like
Mm,
and who in my life is worthy of that weight, right?
I
I
see.
Yes.
I it, I don't read reviews anymore. That's for my own protection and preservation,
Yeah,
because I do know that it will affect me. So I just have
yeah,
to turn it off. But inevitably, I will get the text that says, "Are you happy? Oh, this is so great."
right, right.
Or "Don't you worry, baby. I thought you were fantastic." So
Right,
it does,
right.
they're both coming at it from a place of love, but it
Yeah,
changes the course of my day.
yes,
But I don't know whether it's my age, I don't know whether it's because I've become a mama, or whether I see our world and I go, look, I'm just here to create. And
yeah,
Yeah.
how it's received then becomes none of my business.
Yeah.
But that's just a mantra. I don't know if I truly believe that deep down in my core, because I think whatever leads us to tell these stories and expose ourselves in such a vulnerable way, then as a kid or something happened in our lives that is making us reach out and say,
Yeah.
hey, person in the back row, please
Please.
applaud for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
please
right. Please
accept me.
validate.
Please
Yeah,
see
yeah,
me.
Accept me.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. And that's just part of the human aspect of being artists, I think,
Yeah.
I think
which is a crazy catch 22,
it
right? We're
feels good
told,
when something you created is received in a lovely way. And of course we want to feel that and hear that, right? In everything we do. I don't know if the goal is to say screw what anybody else thinks. I don't know if that's the goal because it's such a not negative but
Mm,
harsh one
yeah,
place
yeah,
to be.
but it's
You don't want
if
to land
it doesn't have
harsh.
to be that. No, but the
Right,
giving
that's what I'm
away
saying.
of it, right? You can invest and put so much personal love and effort and investment, but then once you give it away, it's no longer yours. And
Right.
that's the healthy understanding,
Mm.
right? If you
yeah.
keep holding on to it and white knuckling this art form, you're not giving it away. And so this connection, this beautiful connection that you spoke about between the artist and the audience, it can't be reciprocated,
Right.
because
Right.
I've seen plenty of talented people that are keeping it for themselves, or
Mm,
I can literally see the energy flow floating above them, editing themselves, or,
Mhm.
that aura that Margot Robbie has, that halo, it doesn't exist because they're not letting go of it.
Right.
Once you let go of it, then what they do with it is no longer a part of you and
Because you
shouldn't be
can't
part of your
control how
business.
things are received because people
No?
receive it with their own traumas and their own opinions and their own
Yes. Or
past
whatever they had for
experiences.
dinner.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
Right,
literally.
right, right.
It has nothing to do
Right.
with you really.
That's
But
right.
but then again, it always does feel good to hear,
Right,
that
right.
you've said
Oh,
something or
yeah.
done something that moved them in a positive way. I mean, because you're human.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
can you possibly detach from that?
I've been reconciling with this because Titanique was this big moment, and I have this next thing, and who knows what the next thing will be. I mean, I continue to plan on creating, but inevitably some things will be well received, some things won't be as well received. And how does one kind of navigate through that, when you're outputting, when you're an artist and you are outputting work that you want people to love, and some people might not. And
Right.
how do you navigate that? And do you continue making art? I don't know. It's just
Well,
it's been very fascinating. It's been very
here's my
fascinating to think
question
about.
to you. Do you think you are the whole picture, or do you align with the understanding that you're only as good as your last project?
Mm,
Well, you know what? At first, it was only as good as the last project. And then somebody said to me, you need to start thinking about everything as a
yeah.
body of work.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's
And
cumulative.
and has that has freed me in a way where before I was like, oh, a therapist also once said to me, compare and despair. And that is
Yeah,
what
Yeah.
I was doing a lot. If you compare, you despair.
It's the
And
thief
that's
so
of
right.
for
joy. We always say, if comparison's the thief
yes,
of joy.
yes, exactly,
Yep.
exactly. And so with this,
I
I was like, oh, I want people to like it as much. I want people to think it's as funny. I want it to be as big and blah, blah, blah. And I was driving myself crazy. And so now I'm trying to take a more cumulative approach to everything that I do.
All right, I'm going to show you ladies a yoga thing that we're all going to do from now on every
Oh,
time
I
we're
love it.
struggling with this. Okay. Have I
Yes.
showed you this, Stephanie? The fingers have. I don't think I've
Yes.
showed.
Okay, but
I did show you.
explain so that
Okay.
the listeners can also do it at
Okay.
home.
So you know that yoga thing that you always see where the index finger touches the thumb, right? It's a
Mhm.
yoga move you see it all the time, right? It's a mudra, it's called. The meaning behind that mudra is that every finger has a meaning.
Oh,
Okay.
hmm,
So the
hmm.
pinky is earthly desires.
Okay.
The ring finger is illusions. The middle finger is your ego. The pointer finger is your highest self, and your thumb is God.
Oh,
So
wow.
when you do this mudra, you are requesting that your earthly desires, your illusions, and your ego fall away so that your highest self is free to reach for God. When you do, God bends to meet you halfway.
Wow.
Come on now.
I
Isn't
love
that
it.
gorgeous?
That's
Yeah, that is
beautiful.
I
gorgeous.
think
I'm going
that
to do
is
that
the
Yeah.
tonight
most
while singing.
gorgeous meaning. And it's just one of those things. And I try to teach kids when I teach them yoga, like when you do this, that's the meaning.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So when you're feeling lost like that, just do this and
I
remind
love it.
yourself you're just reaching for something higher. And when you do it will meet you there. I
Hmm.
love
I'm going to
that
add that to my
mudra.
practice. I've been trying to meditate. I've been journaling, and I'm going to
Oh,
start adding this. It's called mudra.
that's called a mudra. Hand
A
gestures
mudra.
in yoga are the
Oh,
mudras.
love it.
Yeah.
Now, okay.
Please do.
So Marla and I actually connected because we both have tinnitus. So I DM'd her and said, are you struggling with this? What is your story? Do you have anything to relieve? And she trusted me with her struggle as well. So maybe you could talk about that a little. First of all, tinnitus is a constant ringing in the ear that you cannot get rid of. You never live in silence. This came out of nowhere for me shortly after giving birth. I have tried many things. I've seen Eastern and Western doctors. I've tried Chinese medicine, all of the things, and it hasn't gone away. And I try to breathe through it. But you said meditation, and even in my meditation, it will pull me out of a stillness or a centering. So, talk to me a little bit with your journey with this crazy noise that just doesn't ever leave.
Barbara Streisand
I
has it too. Yeah.
Oh, really?
She talks
My
about
Yeah.
it in her
father,
book.
my father also struggles from it. Joe Scarborough, my mother follows him and he has terrible tinnitus. There are many different versions of it. So you have ringing in your ears. I
I
have
do.
what sounds like I have Morse code in my ears, but or like ammunition or gunfire. So I will be on stage and I have hissing and I have a full symphony in my head, but my main sounds are like someone is like clicking or firing a gun in my ear. And it wakes me up in my sleep. It can happen unannounced. I can sleep 10 hours and it's still, I have a bad day. Um, I got surgery. I tried an experimental surgery. I did everything that you did, Stephanie. I did Eastern, Western medicine. I did an experimental surgery to cut a tendon in my ear and
Oh
Wow.
my
Were you
gosh.
everything.
worried about your voice, your instrument with that particular surgery?
I wasn't worried about my voice, but I did ask like how would sound feel? And the
Hearing
doctor
pitches and
Yeah.
whatnot like
hearing
that?
hearing pitches, hearing sound, and this doctor who, bless his heart, is a surgeon but knows nothing about musical theater and what I do for a living. He said, "You won't feel any different. This thing that we are cutting is anatomically obsolete." And so I went through this experimental surgery and cut a tendon, and it has made everything 1 million times worse, so much
Oh
Oh
my
my
so that I am
gosh.
gosh.
so hypersensitive to sound now because I have no sound barrier in my left ear that essentially when I go on stage and when I'm singing, I have to wear like a fitted in-ear or plug. So I'm singing as if I am deaf. Essentially, I'm deaf when I perform on stage.
Wow.
That recalibration and adjustment was probably the worst time of my life. And yeah, and I was, just to be very, very frank, there are days that I did not want to live, and there are still some days that are so bad that I just don't want to live. But I read something about tinnitus because I was trying to get into all these forums or talk to anybody, and you're really the only person, Stephanie, that has reached out and talked to me about it. And someone once said that they started seeing tinnitus and this symphony of sound as a beautiful reminder of life and being alive.
Mm,
Mm.
mm.
And that's what I try to view it as. If it disrupts me, it brings me back into the present moment. And I also read something that your brain is neuroplastic, and after some time, you begin to accept. And so I have lived with it for 5 years. It has been an unbearable 5 years of my life, but I'm still alive and I'm existing. And it's this silent disease that really no one knows about. And it doesn't seem like it's that bad, but it's like you're being tortured by your body,
Yes,
24/7.
yes.
Yeah.
When you sing, though, so you can only hear your exquisite voice in the sort of recesses of your brain, almost like you have a head cold. Is that the only way you can hear yourself sing?
Yeah. Half of my face and ear is underwater, so I don't even know. So I've struggled, very candidly. Coming back to theater has been really hard because it's all about hearing yourself and it's all about sound and
Yes.
it's all about pitches. And so I've been so scared about like, am I on pitch? Am I on pitch? I feel like sometimes I'm guessing pitch, but it's so funny because when I sing something, if I'm singing on stage, I'm also such a goddamn critique of myself. I'll be like, "Oh, that note was flat. Okay, Marla, you have good pitch.
Hmm.
This whole thing that you don't have good pitch, that's all in your head. You
Yeah,
have
for you to
perfect
even
pitch."
know that you were
Yeah.
flat. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're exactly right. That's right.
So it's been this crazy adjustment, but I navigated the best that I can. I don't really, honestly, this is probably the first time that I'm speaking about it because it's so bizarre and not many people suffer from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a real journey. It's made performing in musical theater like a thousand times harder because I'm so scared of what I sound like. And if I'm
Streisand wrote in her book that
She did.
someone told her that it was a sign of high spirituality, that
Oh,
oh
it's like
wow.
signals, that are coming to
well,
you.
thank you, angels, for
Yeah.
this
Well,
nonstop
Yeah.
noise that never goes.
so you know how sometimes like I will sometimes get like a in my
Mhm.
ear, but it fades away. Is it the
That's
Yeah.
same
tinnitus.
sound?
Yeah, but
So
mine
yes.
but mine doesn't go away. So
Yes.
mine is a little bit like an SOS, but it's a belt, it's a squeak tone. So I have at a
Yeah.
very, very minimal pitch, but it never goes away, honey.
Yeah.
Never. It
Ah,
will dissipate when I'm watching TV or there are other noises that will kind
okay.
of drown it out. But if I'm trying to meditate, if I'm trying to be quiet still, or exacerbates, like, let's say Vivi is so happy and she comes into the car and she's singing and then the radio's on and this noise is going. I feel like I lose my
Yeah.
mind. So I
Yeah.
have to literally look at Seb and say, I gotta step away because there's too much sensory overload happening
Yeah.
to me right now, and I'm about to lose it.
Well,
Because
I
Yeah.
get that
I'm
too, but
never sitting in silence. No,
I
I'm
thought that
never
was
in silence.
ADD. Like I'll
I
get
don't
that
know.
feeling of
See, I
like,
don't
oh
know
my God, there's
ADD
too
well
many
enough to.
noises coming at me. But it's not necessarily like the high pitch thing. I always thought it was my ADDs where I
But
can
no,
feel myself.
it's an internal noise that never goes away.
Wow.
Like I'm never
What
in silence. Never.
Yeah. What you
Wow.
experience, that sound, that is, if that was prolonged, what you
Always.
experience, that would be tinnitus. It is your brain trying to, especially like with hearing loss, but it can also, mine came through just extreme stress and flying, but it's your brain trying to make up for a loss of sound. And
Mm.
not many people know anything about it because you think that it's your ears, but it's actually your brain kind
It's
of
cerebral.
misfiring and
Mm-hmm.
creating different kind of neural patterns.
Have you
So,
guys tried EMDR?
oh,
Mm-hmm.
I have tried.
And it didn't work.
Yeah, we've tried just about everything, I'm sure.
Wow.
And I'm there's not much research on it. It's not like LASIK where you can go in and,
Mm-mm.
get cataract or get, something to clear cataracts and all of a sudden you can see again. It's
Wow.
like it's something to do with cochlear hairs. I don't know. It's crazy. It's
It
crazy. But
is
my
crazy. And it's also met with the healthcare system with a bit of a shrug and like,
yes.
well, I don't know, because it's not life threatening. It's not like a major organ that's gonna, but it is so unsettling that you do feel like you're losing your mind at
Yeah.
different points.
It,
And
it's it's a
That's how they,
neurological disease.
yeah,
This is crazy. The CEO of Outback got it and committed suicide. Like it is an
I didn't
oh
invisible,
know
my
that.
God.
it's an invisible neurological disease where you are in pain 24/7
Yeah,
and doctors can prescribe you. I went on every sort of anti-epileptic medicine. I mean, I was
yeah.
during Titanique taking so much medicine, like seizure medication to
Yeah,
try to stop.
I went on a seizure medication. That's
Oh
right.
my
That's right.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it didn't do anything
No,
except
the
be
side effects were actually, it
awful,
wasn't resolving
worse.
anything, and the side
Yeah.
effects were worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I must admit, I know you're hearing Marla say tinnitus, and I'm saying tinnitus. I've heard it both ways.
Both ways, yeah.
I don't know where the emphasis is on what
Yeah.
syllable,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
just go with us on
Yeah.
this.
But it was when you reached out to me, well, first of all, when you DM'd me, I was like, oh my God, I'm getting a DM from Stephanie Blog. I have to tell all of my friends because I feel like I'm maybe, I'm pretty calm about it, but I am such a fucking stan of you, Stephanie. I can't,
What?
I know the fact that I'm even doing your podcast right now. I mean, I grew up listening to you. Like you were one of my icon divas. Anyway, so when you were messaging me, I was like, oh my God, I'm being messaged by Stephanie. Like the 13-year-old, like stupid musical theater girl came out. But then when it was about tinnitus, I was like, oh my God, I finally feel like I can talk to somebody in
Yeah.
this industry who understand what it's like to have to live with something auditory while having to go out and sing and deal with that
Yes.
at the same time.
Yes.
I'm so jealous of people who can just sing and they don't deal with what we deal with.
Don't
So
have this distraction. And
totally.
yeah. Anyway, thank you for
Wow.
being honest about that.
Of course.
And
I'm so glad that I finally get to talk about it.
I'm a mine is, if I were to walk into your closet, is there a garment or piece of jewelry, something that you will never get rid of because of the memories it holds?
Unfortunately, I get rid of everything.
Me too.
Oh my God, I'm such a purger. I don't know if
Me
there's,
too.
I mean, maybe my mother has jewelry at home she'll bestow onto me one day, and I will keep that
And you'll
forever.
keep that.
But other than that, I'm
Connie,
like
that's it. The only thing in your
yeah,
apartment you're
exactly,
keeping
Connie,
is
and I'm ready to get rid of him.
Connie.
Because we're married. It's crazy. No, I throw out everything.
That's
It's
how I
really, I'm
am.
like the opposite of a hoarder.
Oh, wow.
I just can't. Yeah,
Clean it out.
My husband
yeah,
gets
especially
very nervous
clothing.
every spring and every fall because I get the
Yes.
old bag stir and he's like, "Oh God, what is she throwing
Mm,
away now?" I want to throw away everything. I'm just like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything that I would keep, but I'm sure at some point because everything is like Zara or like, there's nothing I have of sentiment in terms of clothing or material things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's got to be freeing.
Describe for me your perfect sandwich. And let me preface
Ooh.
this by saying I'm on day 4 of a 5-day fast.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
Mary Lee.
I'm
Oh
gonna
my
eat
You're gonna
a
love
gosh.
this.
sandwich while you talk about it. Go ahead.
The perfect sandwich actually is from this place called Chick Chick on the Upper West Side. It's a Korean fried chicken sandwich. A fried chicken sandwich.
Oh,
Inject that into my veins like heroin. With like spicy, with like a little sriracha or like one of those, like the orange mayo, which
Oh
who
yeah.
knows what's in that, but
yes.
it's
Nobody
so
knows.
good.
Nobody knows.
That
Yeah.
is my favorite sandwich.
Oh, I'm
I will
so
say I
hungry.
went to a place called, is it Johnny Jim's? Jimmy John's? What's it called?
Jimmy
Anyway,
John's.
Jimmy John's. I went to Jimmy John's because they have a pickle sandwich. It's not bread, guys. They take a pickle, they hollow out the
No.
pickle, and
Wow.
then they put cold cuts, Italian cold cuts, and olive oil and salt and pepper and anything
That
you
sounds
want on
like
there.
the best sandwich ever.
Guys, my mouth is watering right
Oh
now.
my God, I'm so hungry, you
Wow,
guys.
wow, wow.
I get to
I
eat on
enjoyed it
Friday.
a
I can't
lot.
wait.
Oh my
Okay.
God. Amazing.
Oh, it's me. Oh, it's me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've been talking about it. This chapter of your life. What is the title of this chapter?
She's back, bitches.
Yes.
She's back, bitches. You thought you could get rid of me? I spent a decade in LA and here I am.
Can
I'm
you
back
say
in
it
New
like
York.
Céline Dion? Can you do that for us?
Okay, girlfriends. Bonjour, it's me, and guess what? She's back, bitches. Okay.
Perfect.
That's been a while. I have to like tap
Oh,
into
that
that.
was so
That's
good.
I have to
perfect.
Shall we go for it? Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Use
You've
my
been
one
arrested.
call.
Connie's coming to bail you out. What does
Uh-huh.
he assume that you have done to get
Oh
yourself
God.
thrown in jail?
He probably started a fight with an officer or something. He probably would think that I started that because I can be so stubborn. That is the one quality. I am so stubborn and I just have to be right. It's what I'm
Ah,
working on, but I'm
Are
sure
you
I
a
can
okay.
get to.
Taurus?
I'm a Capricorn.
Oh,
I'm
Capricorn.
even worse. And I'm dating a
Mm.
Taurus, so you can
When's
imagine
your
what it's like.
birthday?
Well, December 22nd. I'm right on the
Okay.
cusp of Sagittarius and
Okay.
Capricorn.
Yep. Yep.
My father and I share the same birthday, but he's
Oh,
not as stubborn
wow.
as me, which is crazy. But
My
oh my
daughter's a
God.
Capricorn. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
then you get it. They have strong personality.
Very strong.
Must be
Yeah.
right.
I know. Okay, last question. If you were a nail polish, what color is that nail polish and what's the cheeky little name?
Ooh. You know what? I'm gonna go back to my girl Celine. It would be called Selena-sance, and it would be gold. It would be gold because she's always in a
Yes.
gold dress. And honestly,
Ah,
I wear gold all the time. And every time I wear gold, I think of her because in Titanique, I would get my nails painted gold all the time. So,
I love it.
Selena-sance, it is.
I
I
love
love
it.
it. I
Thank you for
love
your
it.
time. Thank you for your
Thank you for having
candor.
me.
Oh
Thank
my
you. Thank you.
gosh, it's our pleasure.
It was so fun to
Everybody,
meet you.
she has
Likewise, likewise.
two off-Broadway shows running. So check out Titanique and Big Gay Jamboree, which is at the Orpheum Theater. And remind me, Titanique is at the Daryl Roth.
Yeah,
Is that
it is.
right?
Yeah,
At the
yeah,
Daryl Roth.
yeah.
All
Thank you.
right. Lady, we stay on and we talk about you, but we so appreciate your time and your talents. Thank you,
Thank
thank
you
you,
so
thank
much. Thank
you.
you. It's so wonderful talking to you both.
Be
Bye-bye.
Bye.
well. Bye.
Bye.
How great
So
was
great.
she?
Oh
My
my
God.
gosh. Anytime, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. I don't know. I'm in two camps depending on where I am in the day. But I do believe that in the first couple seconds, you feel an energy, you settle in and you ride the wave.
Mm,
But then there are other people where you're like, I'm not sure. And then 10 minutes in, you're like, oh, here we go. We're off and running. But
yeah.
with her, her presence was like
Yeah.
really
Yeah. Yeah.
grounded, really authentic, and we were off and running right
She's
away.
super authentic. What I love about her though is I feel like in my late 50s, I've sort of figured out some formulas to like how to get stuff done and
Hmm.
not to be afraid and to just jump, I mean,
Follow
I
your
feel
fear.
like and I feel like in my 30s I would not have had the insights or the courage to do the things that I'm not afraid to do now.
Mhm.
She's young. I mean, how old is she?
I don't know. I
I'm
didn't
I'm
Google
I'm
that.
guessing 30s, late 30s,
Hold on, let's check it
right?
out.
Look what she's not afraid of anything. Like she just jumps in. If someone says no, she's like, well, I'll figure it out for myself. And I love women like that. I mean, I love
The
people
figuring
like
out
that.
kind of people, I
Yeah.
love. Let's figure it out.
And you want to
Yeah.
work with people like that because you know it's not all going to fall on you. You want to like, I don't know, you want to surround yourself with people like her. I just think you can tell she's a cheerleader. You can tell she's a really good friend. You can tell she's super smart and she's
Mm-hmm.
fearless. Or if
Mm-hmm.
she's fearful, she doesn't care. She does it
No,
anyway.
you walk on through.
Yeah.
Oh, Gav, walk
Oh
on
gosh.
through. Wow. Um, yeah, and I also do love, it's really interesting because pop culture is not a
Yeah.
language I speak. It's
No.
just foreign to me. And so when I meet millennials or people in their late 30s or even early 40s, this sort of fluency that they have with whatever, Real Housewives or the Kardashians and I kind of, I don't know, I shrug it off. I used that term earlier today in this conversation too, but I kind of go, how is that relating to me? But it
Mm-hmm.
does because it
Mm-hmm.
is present, because it is part of the younger generation, because it does have such a reach towards
Mm-hmm.
people. And I was one of those voices like when Survivor came out, I thought, oh, reality TV, how long can this possibly last? And here we are 20 some years later, and that is still a genre of media that's at
Yeah.
the forefront.
I remember when
So,
Survivor came out and it was such a big hit. I never watched it. And because I felt like it celebrated the worst of human nature.
interesting.
And I'm like, why are we celebrating that? They're all
But did you
turning on
watch
each
it to
other. And
actually see?
well, I thought it was like they would form teams and then turn on each other. And I was like,
They
this is
would. They would vote
horrible.
each other out. And I guess the bottom line, because it's a competition, it is to win, but it also brought out a lot of good in each other. You do see, at least with Survivor, you do see like the whole piece, the whole pie, because people are working together. People, when it comes time to, they really need us, they will rise up and help regardless of the win at the end.
Mm.
But you see all sides. And I thought that was interesting. It felt like a safe social experiment, which I do love taking part of. I love watching the way people think and the way they act and what motivates them and anthropologically,
Yeah.
where we come from and how it shows itself in present day. And reality series like that do that. Other bits, I don't know if I told you, in 2022, the casting director of Real Housewives reached out to me and was
No.
interested in having me as a Real Housewife of New York. They wanted a Broadway star to be
Oh,
part of this new cast because they were kind of cleaning house for the Real Housewives in New York.
did you entertain that?
Well, no. First of all, I'd be the most boring housewife you ever saw. They'd be drinking and fighting. I'd be like, "Can I have a
I'm
cranberry
gonna go
juice?"
journal. Thank
Hey,
you.
everybody.
Did any
My tinnitus
Broadway
is
buddy do
acting
it?
up.
Did anyone from
Um,
Broadway do it?
no, they got a fashion designer, I think, Rebecca
Wow.
Anyway, but that did. They reached out and I was like, well, first of all, I if it was just kind of showing our lives truly
Yeah.
as it is,
Yeah.
that's one thing.
Yeah.
But to then give your life away and have them edit it for what they need to
Yeah.
sort of craft drama and craft
I
pain
would
and angst and
never
that I was
do
like,
that.
I'd like to stay married and I'd
I
like my
don't tr
child to
Yeah. I don't trust anybody to edit our podcast. I'd
hell no.
never trust
Yeah,
anybody to edit my
come on
life
now.
for consumption like
Come
that.
on now.
Never.
Did I get a big chuckle out of it? And did I think, oh gosh, they would be so disappointed if I went on the show? Because again, I'm boring, people. Very boring. Is anything new on your end?
Well, my son is not coming home from Spain. He's going to Italy for his next semester.
He loves it.
He loves it. He was like, Mom, can I please stay? And I said, yeah. I said to Michael, what's he going to do? Go to New Hampshire and do UNH, which is great, but spend the year away, but the thought of him finishing up this first school year and he'll be 20 years old, right? He'll be
Wow.
20 next summer. And it's like, he's like adult. He's living on his
Yeah.
own. He's thriving. He's super happy. it's pretty, it's heart aching, but also joyful
Yeah,
to watch.
you did a great job,
Time will
He's
tell,
out.
but he's a
He's
very
out
happy
in the
human.
world, legitimately in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, he's happy.
Well, since we last spoke, the Kiss Me Kate movie came out. I
I
think it
know.
was well
Oh, I'm
received.
dying to see it. It'll be on
Oh,
Broadway
wow.
HD and all of that, right?
It should do that. It should do BBC and PBS. So we'll
Okay,
keep
good.
listeners abreast of that. The Share book has come out in hardcover and in Audible. So that happened on November the 19th. So if you're interested, Share and myself narrate her book, memoir, part one. So check that out. Man, her life is. First of all, her clarity in the remembering of details is unbelievable to me. Seb at one point goes, "Oh, I can't wait for your book to come out." We've talked about this. I don't remember what I had
Yeah,
for
but you have all
breakfast.
your journals to remind
It's
you.
true.
I have
It
no
is
memory
true.
and no journals. So,
Okay, well, I do have that. But if you want to download that from Audible or Apple, please do. It is an incredible part one
yeah, I'm
in her
dying to listen to
life.
that.
It's just extraordinary. Yeah.
And she's going to do a second book?
Yes, Mama, because this first book
Wow.
is like 480
But
pages
where
and
does it stop?
she's not even 30. She's just really
Oh my
left
God.
with Sonny, and she's about to go to New York to star to become an actress. And we all know that she stars in Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean, Jimmy Dean. But she really
Wow.
hasn't gone on her own solo stardom. She hasn't become the
my
movie
gosh.
star. Yeah, right. And even still, this
It's
part
so good.
one, it's illuminating and wild and shocking, and it's a roller coaster, as you
I
would
can't
expect
wait.
it to
I'm
be. Yeah,
definitely going to download it for my long drives back and forth to New York. I can't
perfect.
wait.
Perfect. Well, I love you so much.
I love you so much. Stages podcast is produced by Mary Lee Fairbanks and Stephanie J. Block. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Join us on social media pages or sign up for the mailing list at stagespodcast.net. That is also where you will find Stages swag. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share and rate and review the show. It really helps us grow. Big thank you to Noah Kaiserman and Garrett Healy for the original music, and Allison Arns, who has been with us since day one. See you soon.